live.
Hello and welcome back to the Early Bar Football Podcast, episode 27, maybe. Black Friday.
Great.
Great. Stop it. It's Black Friday today. Have you guys got any? Well, I'll ask the boys when I introduce them if they've got any Black Friday deals. Chris is here. Hello, Chris. How's your day been? And as I said, any Black Friday deals for you today, sir?
The day hasn't been too bad, and I'll be honest, I haven't really taken advantage of Black Friday yet. There might still be some late deals. You know, I might do a bit of Harry Redknapp wheeling and dealing later on, but we'll wait and see.
Although I feel like Black Friday tends to last for quite a long time now. I feel like it's
like fortnight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like
it doesn't even start on Black. It doesn't even start like Black Friday, does it? It literally starts like a week before and then finishes the week after.
Yeah, and I feel like too many people are taking too much advantage of it because obviously I feel like it was an electronic sort of thing, and now it's like you got like Tesco doing it, and it's like this is not your domain, sir, madam.
Yeah,
21st
They do
century.
sell electronics. They do sell TV.
They do.
I get your point.
You get my point. And
The white
and
company.
why
are they doing Black Friday? You know.
Well, anyway, these are the thoughts of Ed Priest, who is also here today. How are you, Ed?
I've not bought anything. I did see that Adidas were doing some bits, and I had a little look at the football shirts, but there was nothing. They're all still quite expensive. And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll have noticed that I tweeted about sustainability in football shirts.
You did
say because Brentford have decided to continue their current home shirt into next season and not bringing out a new one, which I said was brilliant because far too often football teams and football clubs bring out a shirt every season and it's just got a bit ridiculous, really. And the other part of the argument was they charge a fortune for them, and even with
I feel like they've gone up in recent times.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Like,
100%.
I know we were kids, but back in the day you used to be able to get a football shirt for 30 quid. Now you get them for 100 for the
crazy,
authentic skin tight fit. What fat bloke in the stand is going to want the authentic fit? It's just a joke.
I don't know.
I hope
we're not going to fat shame.
No fat shaming. What average football fan who isn't perfectly toned and chiseled is going to want a skin tight football shirt with Neymar on the back?
As perfectly toned and chiseled men on this podcast, you know, we can't relate.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, even like with 50% off, they were still like 40 quid. So I was like, no, I am not buying a Besiktas home shirt. I'm sorry, not for £40.
Come to Besiktas. I am coming to Besiktas. But also on this point, especially teams like Brentford, realistically, their home kits are going to be exactly the same every single year. Like Newcastle as well. It's just like black and white stripes. Maybe they'll do a gold trim or something. I feel like, you know...
You could say that about any club, though, couldn't you? Like, Man U's always going to be red home shirt.
Yeah, I guess. But I feel like...
But yeah, especially with stripes and hoops or whatever, there's only so many variations you could do on it. Newcastle have done quite a few variations. They've gone thin, they've gone thick.
Yeah, but thin to thick is it's a decision that has to be made and can't be taken lightly. Do you remember when Barca went really thin and everyone was like, ugh?
I mean, Barca's kits now is not great, is it?
No,
hurts my eyes. It goes from like red to blue, but then on the shorts it's the other way around. It's just
Yeah.
I don't vibe. Yeah.
Thing is, with kits nowadays, you're not actually paying for the t-shirt, are you? You're literally just paying for all the sponsorships that are plastered all over the kit. Obviously, you've got the sponsor there, you've got the sports mate there, you've got whatever mate they've got.
Angry Birds on the sleeve.
Yeah,
that's huge. I was actually, you know, the Oxford United kit a few seasons ago when they had Singer. I reckoned that they could have had the shirt with the most animals on their shirt. So they had Singer, which is maybe a dragon, who knows, whatever it was. They also have the ox, obviously. They also had a puma, which is a puma. That's 3 animals on a single football shirt. I don't think any club could surpass that figure, unless any come to mind. I think it's a high standard. It's a high bar to set from the mighty Yellows. What have you
certainly
Googled
is.
there, Ed? Shirts with animals on them.
No, I was. My search history is very peculiar. No,
Oh, that's not.
I was trying to think of some, and I thought of Everton because they're sponsored by Hummel, aren't they? Has that got a B on it? I think possibly on the badge.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought it
You're
just said
joking.
Hummel.
Don't know. And then Angry Birds, they've got a bird on the arm, but their shirt sponsor is very much Kazoo, so there's no animal involved.
The Hummel is a bumblebee.
Bumblebee, yes.
Because Hummel is German for bumblebee.
Yes.
I've never seen it, but now Chris, if you want to Google it, right, feel free. But you can definitely see Hummel is a bumblebee.
Yeah,
Now we all know German.
Yeah, I'll do it afterwards.
Talking of Germans, that's a great segue. Segue. Ralph Rangnick. Let's talk about the pronunciation.
He's ranked that one in there.
Thank you. He has agreed a deal in principle to join Manchester United as their interim manager. Not their interim, because that's Michael Carrick, but the interim before the permanent manager. I don't think it's been formally announced. I think there's just been a deal in principle with, I can't remember which Moscow it is. I think it's Lokomotiv, not Spartak.
Up the trains.
You are correct.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Up the trains,
yeah.
Lokomotiv.
Did you know there used to be 4 teams in Moscow. I found out there was Lokomotiv, Spartak, CSK, which is actually pronounced Siska. I've also found out, but there was also an FC Moscow, sort of like maybe a Phoenix club or something.
Well,
I don't know.
there's a Dynamo Moscow, isn't there?
There also is.
Yeah.
I was listening to another podcast. I think it was the Football Clichés podcast. And apparently, Lokomotiv have a massive train outside their stadium. Spartak have a massive Spartan outside their stadium, which is fun if you ever go to Russia. But no, Ralph Rangnick, the head of sport and development or something at Lokomotiv, has a deal agreed with Manchester United to join them as their interim manager until the end of the season. He then will do a 2-year sort of consultancy advisory role, which I think if you're a United fan, I think that's probably the better sort of the best thing to come out of this whole saga for them, especially Rangnick. He's seen as the father of the Gegenpress. I don't know what father is in German.
Vater.
Vater.
I think it is Vater.
Vater of Gegenpress. Yeah. 99 red balloons. Fantastic. Good Lord.
Here's a question. What does a consultant at a football club, does that mean he's just going to be like the sporting director? Like, what does that even mean?
Aren't you a consultant?
Yeah, but I know what that means. Like, in a football context, what is he going to be?
Okay,
like,
so what do
advisor?
you do? But can you apply it to football?
Yeah, I suppose you could.
Could it be like, okay?
I presume he's going to be like some sort of technical director. He'll be like advising them on transfers and.
Yeah, be like, we want to sign Sam Long.
We want to play this way. Who can
Ralph Rangnick will go, don't sign him. Sign a better
expensive
player. He's too good for Manchester United. Samuel Long. Sign someone who is a bit worse, such as
he is from Bicester. You'll
Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's slightly worse than Sam Long. I don't know. Chris, with this whole deal for United and Rangnick, is that a good deal? Do you think that? Are you scared as an Arsenal fan that this is actually quite a good deal for United?
I think it's a very good deal for Manchester United. I was kind of hoping it wasn't going to go through before the Arsenal game on the 2nd of December, but it looks like it will go through. Yes, on a Thursday. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that.
Yeah, well, it's the old Christmas schedule, isn't it? They love chucking games here, there, everywhere.
Fantasy football goes out the window.
It does. Even though it's already gone out the window for me. In fact,
Chris.
I've gone out the window on the 30th floor.
God.
Have you hit the ground yet?
Very Douglas.
I'm nearly there. But
you've shut your eyes. It's impending.
Yeah.
Boom.
But obviously going back to Rangnick, it is a very good deal. I mean, you just got to look at what he's done everywhere he's been, and that, like, whether it be as the manager or as someone in like the backroom staff and that. So like, what was it like? Obviously, he's well known like in Germany. I mean, you also got to look at it as well that considering like you've got Pochettino and Guardiola, they say, oh yeah, Bielsa is the manager that's made us become managers, and we basically play his way of football. Like Rangnick is that guy to the likes of Klopp, Tuchel, and Nagelsmann. Considering those three managers right there, probably three of the better managers currently in world football, and that I think that just goes to show, how important this appointment is for Manchester United. And you look at Rangnick's career. Obviously, he was the guy that set the thing in motion for Hoffenheim. Obviously, when he became manager at Hoffenheim, they were, I want to say, like the third or fourth tier of Germany. But obviously, under his managerial leadership, obviously he led them straight into the Bundesliga, and obviously they're now a established Bundesliga club. Schalke as well. He had a short stint at Schalke obviously he's had two stints at Schalke, but his second one back in 2011, I think he'd come in during the season, and he got him to a Champions League semi-final, which is incredible. You think what Schalke are like today in the second tier of German football, and then obviously like the work he's done at RB Leipzig, and
does that mean he crossed paths with Teemu Pukki at Schalke?
He probably did. He probably did cross paths with Teemu Pukki.
Wonderful.
So Norwich might be receiving a £50 million offer for Pukki in January.
Norwich staying up, baby.
But yeah, and obviously the work he done at RB Leipzig as well, obviously helped establish them also as a Bundesliga club. Obviously he had two stints in charge there. And obviously when you talk about the Red Bull clubs as well, he's done so much in the background for not just Leipzig, but obviously with like RB Salzburg and all the other Red Bull clubs. And he's left them in sort of a good sustainably run way. And let's put it that way. So it is a very good appointment for Manchester United. The only concern I do have is Man U have got to get the manager after Rangnick right. And for me, I think they got to try as hard as they can to prize Pochettino away from PSG. Because if Pochettino isn't happy at PSG, then you might as well take advantage of it. I mean, people will say, but Poch hasn't won a major trophy. Poch, he bottled Ligue 1 last year and that. But first thing about the whole no trophy thing, you look at what Pochettino had done at Tottenham. He inherited a squad that was managed by Tim Sherwood and got and took them.
He had a 59% win ratio, Chris, actually.
Yeah. And he took them into, a title race for a few seasons and got them to a Champions League final. And if it wasn't for the fact that the board didn't back him, he'd probably still be at Tottenham, and Tottenham would actually be better than what they are now, not losing to, a team from Slovenia that was only founded less than a decade ago and with a population of
12 minutes to get that in.
11,000 people.
Shoehorn.
And
Shoehorn.
It was. And also apparently like Poch isn't happy at PSG. He doesn't like being he feels like he is more of an like advisor to Leonardo, and Leonardo does all the transfers and Poch has no involvement, and Poch doesn't like how he has like a inflated squad. I think they said that he says he has too many left backs, and says they didn't really need Donnarumma considering they had Keylor Navas as well. And I don't think you can stand the egos at PSG, which, in fairness, I can't stand the egos at PSG myself, so I don't blame him. So Rangnick's a good appointment for Manchester United. They just need to get the guy who's going to come in and work under Rangnick, afterwards.
Interesting. I'm just going to Google how many PSG left backs there are, because if you said there's too many, I can only think of Bernat. I don't even know if he's still there. But anyway, Ed, I was watching a video on Sky Sports earlier about how Klopp said that other teams should be cautious, should be wary of Rangnick coming in, should be very scared because he is the father of all these German coaches, Tuchel, etc. Do you see this role for him, only to the end of the season? It's a relatively short-term gig. Do you think that he can sort of implement not just his style of football, but implement himself onto the football club? And do you reckon United could just step it up in sort of crude words, because they do need to, right?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like you say, it's a very short space of time, and to implement that kind of style does not happen overnight. It took Klopp a long time. I've been quite impressed with how Tuchel's done it. I don't think they quite press in the same way. I think Tuchel's more defensively minded. I think Klopp's a bit more attacking. But yeah, I think it's going to take time. I think with United, it's going to be a completely different job to ones he's had before. We've just run through a couple of his career highlights there. He's not won a massive amount. He's never been at the club like that's expected to do well. He's always been at those clubs that have potential, and then he's taken them on that journey and got them into a good position. He's not won a massive amount. I think he's only won the German Cup with Schalke. Was it with Schalke?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Schalke.
And he's won. I think he's won the Bundesliga second division. So
that reminds me of Sarri, who didn't really win an awful lot, but was kind of highly regarded across football.
Yeah, and then came across and did really well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. He's got a lot of egos to sort out in that Man United dressing room. There's a lot of players on a lot of money who think a lot of themselves. So that's something he's going to have to deal with. And are they going to buy into this system that he's going to want to play, which is high energy, high intensity? I'd argue no. I can't see.
You see Ronaldo pressing?
Nope. Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, Martial. There's loads of players especially at the front of the pitch, that are going to be required to do a lot of defensive work that I just can't see it happening. So the one benefit he's got at United is there are so many good players there that he could quite easily drop a couple of these big name players who are on mega money and still do very well. Will United win anything this year? I mean, they could do, like you say, it's a short-term gig, so he's got absolutely nothing to lose. He could go in and happily upset a few people if he thinks he'll get short-term results. But yeah, time will tell, I think. And like we've just mentioned, fixtures are coming up thick and fast. So I don't know whether that's a blessing or a curse, because he probably wants time with them on the training pitch to implement his style. But at the same time, the best practice is match practice. So we'll see what happens, I think.
Yeah. Just on the PSG point, they have 5 left backs. Although one is on loan at Sporting, Nuno Mendes. They have Abdou Diallo, Juan Bernat, who is still there. Someone called Teddy Alo, and then also Leo Nkazawa. So maybe they do have too many left backs. Maybe Poch is right. But Chris, in terms of this interim manager coming in, the more important decision is the long-term manager, which could be Poch. I know United want to get Poch. And Poch is not happy, you said, being a sort of second order person to Leonardo. Imagine if Rangnick does a really good job in the next few months or so, and he sort of builds his stock within Manchester United, within Premier League football, etc. Do you reckon Poch could come in and there could just be a situation where he's just listening to Rangnick and it's like just the same position that he was in at PSG?
Could be.
Would that put him off?
Potentially, yeah, but like personally, I don't think Rangnick is sort of as I don't know what the best way to describe Leonardo is, because I think
egotistical.
He is a bit egotistical, and he is a bit of a shady character behind the scenes in that. He's a guy that's been at PSG quite a while now himself, Leonardo, and he is one of them that I think obviously he does talk to the players quite a lot, and obviously with their egos there, I think obviously he buys into that and passes that back up the board, back up to the PSG hierarchy and that. So I think like Pochettino and Rangnick will actually work quite well together, because they'll know what players that they want to bring in. Because all right, Pochettino got his style more from Bielsa rather than Rangnick, but it is still quite a very similar style of play, and they'll know what players they would want to bring in to implement that style of play. So personally, I don't think that would be a problem. But if Poch isn't the option, then they're going to need someone that will buy into Rangnick's style of football. And obviously, we've mentioned like 3 people that do favour. Well, obviously, you did say that Rangnick was sort of the guy they looked up to, and there's no way they're going to get Klopp from Liverpool, because obviously Klopp would never leave Liverpool.
Or could you imagine?
You what, Chris?
Yeah. There's no way that. Yeah, there's no way they'd get Tuchel either, and there's no way they'd get Nagelsmann currently, and that. So if they're not going to get Pochettino, it would be interesting to see who they'd bring in to work alongside Ralph Rangnick.
Yeah, Ed, I don't know who you'd reckon if they don't get Poch, who it could be. But do you see a hypothetical situation where Rangnick does really well and is sort of like, oh, do you want the job permanently? Do you want it permanently?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it before with Man United with Solskjaer.
Yeah, it's not like United.
I don't think. Yeah, I think that's perfectly feasible, unless he has just put his foot down and said, "I'll only sign for you if it's only till the end of the season, and then I want a different role." He's getting on a bit. Maybe he wants a bit of time away from the limelight. So,
how old is he? I don't even know.
60. I just googled it. I think he's 63. Yeah, so he's getting on a bit. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like we just mentioned, if they can't get Poch in the summer or soon, who do they go for? I think they've realised since sacking Solskjaer, there's not that many managers out there. A lot of the big ones are already in the Premier League and will not be moving to Man U. So it's an interesting one.
Maybe he'll develop Manchester United into a more attractive proposition if he gets the structure right, and maybe they'll get managers who actually want to come. Maybe Nagelsmann will want to come to United if there's a good structure in place or whatever. But I understand why a lot of managers are just steering away from Manchester United at the minute, because why would you go there? Right? Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the biggest clubs in the world. It's the pinnacle of your career, isn't it? But it's just such a high pressure job. There's so much expectation, and they are going backwards at the minute. It's a big, tough job. So yeah, you can perfectly understand why people are steering away from it.
Yeah, let's turn our attention away from Manchester United, because I feel like we always talk about Manchester United, and hopefully. And as a Liverpool fan, you must hate that, Ed. But I think Josh Leafy, hopefully joining us on Sunday, we can sort of grill him about everything going on in Manchester United. Get that sort of very unbiased view from Josh Leafy. That would be nice. Let's move away to the World Cup playoffs, which I think will be happening this time next year, which is crazy to think. There was the World Cup playoffs draw for the European side of things anyway. That happened maybe about an hour or two ago. So I'll read them out. So there's 12 teams. 3 teams can go through. 4 teams are sort of split into like a pool. And the winner of each pool in each semi-final, final will go through. Really simple, right?
Who's in the deep end, if you'll pardon the pun?
Good. So in the deep end, Scotland versus Ukraine, and then Wales versus Austria. And the winners of those two will play with each other in the final.
That could be huge. Wales-Scotland.
It could be a Wales-Scotland final. That would be pretty huge, right? And then in the second pool, this is the shallow end. This is Russia versus Poland, which is very World War II, and Sweden versus the Czech Republic, which I don't know. I feel like that's just a very bog standard Euros game on a Thursday, like match day 3 sort of vibe. Match day 2.
I don't even know who is the best out of those. Russia were very good when they hosted the tournament. What was it? The Euros or the World Cup?
World Cup, wasn't it?
2018.
They were very decent in that, but they were dreadful at the Euros. Poland have obviously got Lewandowski and a couple of other good players.
I'm pretty sure Poland are like 15th ranked in the world or something.
Big Matty Cash,
really high.
Yeah.
I mean,
England rolled over them last time. They were in our group, weren't they? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweden, I mean, the fact that Zlatan still somehow gets into that squad when he's fit.
Well, they got Alexander Isak, haven't they, now?
Yeah.
And
Emil Forsberg.
Yeah. Is Kim Kallstrom playing? Who knows?
No, he's not.
Sebastian Larsson, does he still get in there?
I think he does.
Yeah.
I genuinely think he does.
Yeah. I still think that Grankvist gets in there. He must be about 40.
Christ. Olaf Melberg.
The Czech Republic. Oh, they had the chap up front who scored all the goals at the Euros, didn't he?
Jan Koller.
That's the one.
Okay.
Pardon you, Chris.
Not Jan. And then this is the deep end. You got Portugal versus Turkey. And the winner of that will play the winner of either Italy or North Macedonia. I think it will be Italy in that one. But
are you sure?
I don't know about that.
What makes you say that?
I think Goran Pandev might have something to say about that. Unless I don't know. He played, But cool. That's huge, because that means one of Portugal and Italy will not be at the World Cup. The Euro 2016 winners, and obviously Cristiano Ronaldo, might be one of his last tournaments, unless there's a World Cup every single year that Arsene Wenger wants, obviously. Or the current Euros winners, Italy. The Euro 2020 / Euro 2021 winners, they could not be at the World Cup, which is pretty wild to think. I'm sure, has that ever happened before? Like you win the
Euros and don't qualify.
Yeah, or like, win your relevant regional.
There's the kind of trend where if you win the World Cup, you then you don't do
get out
very
your
well
group
at the
or
next
something.
one. Yeah, but I don't think there's one tournament to tournament. No.
So that's an interesting one. Chris, what sort of catches your eye there? I mean, there's a lot of sort of subplots there with Scotland, Wales, potential. That might not even be a thing, by the way.
Austria, Ukraine. Can't wait.
Yeah, Austria, Ukraine. But anything there that you sort of catches your eye?
I mean, you just got to talk about, like you said, Italy and Portugal being drawn in the same path.
Right?
And that, I mean, obviously, it's good news for like the other teams and like the other paths. They're thinking, oh, we've actually got a chance here of getting in, getting to a World Cup and that. But the fact that we're not going to have like Italy or Portugal, like in all honesty, like those two teams should have won their groups. You look at the people that finished top in their groups. Was it Serbia top Portugal's group? I mean, I actually watched the because it was back when I was staying at Owens. I watched Portugal away to Republic of Ireland, and they just looked like they were satisfied with a draw, thinking, "Oh, we'll get a draw here, and then we'll just beat Serbia in Lisbon." And of course, Serbia beat them 2-1 in Lisbon with old Mitro getting a last-minute winner.
Mitro's on fire,
and he is, to be fair, he's got like over 20 odd goals this season. And then it's Italy as well. Like it's almost like they just had like one massive hangover from the Euros. Like they were just getting shocking results after, like in their group. Like
they lost their like massive unbeaten run, didn't they? At some point.
Yeah,
I can't remember who that was against.
I think it was. No, it was in the Nations League. They lost their unbeaten run, but but like they got like stupid results. I think they like drew 1-1 at home to like Bulgaria or something like that, which wasn't good. And then like obviously it was a good result for Northern Ireland, but Northern Ireland drew them 0-0 at Windsor Park.
Yeah.
And that so Italy and Portugal should have won their groups, and the fact that they've now got themselves into this situation where obviously it is likely that they'll beat the teams that they've been drawn against in the semi-finals, but like that I mean, Italy versus Portugal could easily be a World Cup final in itself. And that it's going to be a playoff like final to see which one of them actually gets into the tournament is well, to be fair, like from an England point of view, we're already through. That's a tasty watch. If you're if you're Italian or Portuguese, you're thinking, oh dear, one of us could be in big trouble here. Yeah, just
I'm just thinking.
Charlie Nicholas is happy. They've avoided Italy and Portugal, so he's probably just sitting there thinking he's happy about all this.
What do you reckon, Chris? Quick fire. Who is going to be in the finals, and which team goes through?
Scotland, Wales. I'll go Wales, or praise be to Aaron Ramsey.
Oh, good. Yeah, nice.
Poland, Czech Republic. Interesting one because obviously they're the two away teams, but I'm going to go with those two. I'm going to go Czech Republic, and then Italy, Portugal, Italy.
I almost completely agreed with you there. Yeah, I'd say the same teams in the finals. I think Wales, Austria will be a tough game though. I mean, Scotland, Ukraine will be as well. But yeah, let's go. Wales, Scotland, Wales to qualify. Poland, Czech Republic. Did you say Poland or Czech Republic?
I said Czech Republic.
He said the Czechs.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And then Portugal, Italy. I want to go Portugal just because I want to see Ronaldo at one last World Cup.
So Ed's gone for Su, not Ragu.
Screw the Italians after what happened at the Euros.
No bitterness.
Not at all.
He's gone for Sagres over Moretti.
Oh, lovely. And the semi-finals are due to be played on the 24th of March, the final on the 29th. That might be a good day of football, to be honest, whenever the 29th of March is. I hope it's not like a Thursday or something.
I'm sure it won't be.
That'll be very interesting.
Was it 29th of March?
29th of March. You checking the calendar?
It's a Tuesday.
What's the point? What is the point in that? That's so stupid. Oh God! Well, can't wait to do a pod on that. Anyway. Let's move on. Let's move back to. Let's go. We've gone up. Now we're going back down to
What
European
do
football.
What do we think of Tottenham?
No, stop it. We'll do a quick European football review. Match day 5, Champions League, and then if you want to dip into Europa League, because I don't even know. I don't take any notice of the Europa League or the Conference League, if I'm being perfectly honest. But let's talk about the Champions League. I think every group now has played 5 games, so the groups are very much either decided or going down to that sort of one, to sort of misquote the Chase, that one game shootout. But Chris, we saw City beat PSG, didn't they, on Tuesday? More importantly, Sporting beat Dortmund. I don't know. I'm sure you caught that, Chris.
I certainly did.
And sadly,
bigger than the All Money derby.
Yeah, and sadly, Sheriff lost, which is always a shame. We are a Sheriff sympathiser on this podcast, and obviously, Ronaldo Chester United do it again. Carrick's at the wheel. But Chris, Champions League, what happened this week that you liked the look of?
I will quickly touch on Sheriff. I mean, obviously, it is sad that Real Madrid and Milan did turn it around and get through, but you have to say massive credit to Sheriff. Everyone thought there was going to be whipping boys, and they're actually the team that are obviously going to go down into the Europa League, and that it's an absolutely incredible achievement for them. And you fair play to them, absolutely fair play to them. In terms of games that caught my eye, obviously I'll leave Ed to talk about the Liverpool game and that fantastic goal from Thiago Alcantara. Oh, what a strike! What a strike that was. But yeah, in terms of other games, obviously like Manchester United, it was a very good result in Bergamo. They didn't even play in Bergamo. It was a very good result in Villarreal. Sorry, against Unai Emery. I mean, like to me, like alongside Ronaldo. I mean, all right, you did call them Ronchester United and that, but like David De Gea has also been up there as like one of their best players this season, and was it? It was Tuesday night they played, wasn't it? That just proved like how massive he's been for Manchester United this season. Like some of the saves he pulled off was just tremendous.
I feel he's back to his sort of best, isn't he? I feel like he's had a couple of seasons where he wasn't at the level that United fans were sort of expecting, but I feel those levels were very good.
He was unreal, wasn't he?
He was for those couple of seasons. He was unreal, wasn't he?
I think he won their Player of the Year like 3 years on the trot, and then he dropped off. And people were like, "Oh, let's get Dean." It was that year Dean Henderson was at Sheffield United, wasn't it? They were like, "Oh, get Dean Henderson back, stick him as number 1," and now he's gone back up again.
Obviously, we mentioned like the World Cup 2018. It was literally like that period to some point last season where he was going through a bit of a shaky patch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
It's shaky,
but
doesn't get nervous.
But yeah, obviously that was a good result for them. And obviously, like Ed commented on Tuesday night, it obviously helped that Atalanta drew with young boys as well, meaning that Man U topped the group and that. And I think I will talk about Sporting as well. Obviously,
please do.
Obviously, we have a massive love for Sporting on this pod. I say we do. Myself, Tang, Ash, Barnes, Lynchy. We have a massive love for Sporting. As we've been to one game.
Yeah, just went there once.
To one game, and now
like 3 years ago.
But again, like talk about a team that's dropping into Europa League, Dortmund. Yeah. I mean, that's not good enough for Dortmund. I mean, you look at the squad they've got. They should easily be going through that group and that. And like considering like Sporting have lost like key players in the summer, well, and throughout. I mean, yeah, Dortmund have lost key players themselves, but at least Dortmund managed to replace them in some shape or form. But obviously, the players they brought in haven't been good enough.
Yeah. Goal difference of -6 for Dortmund.
Yeah. I mean, Ajax embarrassed them twice in the group as well.
Conceded 11 goals against Ajax, Sporting Lisbon, and Besiktas. It's just awful.
Yeah, it's not good enough. And in a way, like. You're thinking like if you're someone like Erling Haaland or like Mino Raiola is Haaland's agent, you're thinking, well, do I really want Haaland playing in the Europa League second half of the season? Because he could easily get Haaland to move to another club in the Champions League and just say, look, I can get you this move. You know, why don't you go and play for this club that's going to be in the Champions League for the second half of the season? But yeah,
it was a German in charge.
Yeah, Yeah, well, obviously, you've got a bit of a connection to Rangnick, considering Rangnick, what was it? At one point, Rangnick was director of football at both Leipzig and Salzburg. Obviously, Haaland did go to Salzburg and play for a bit. But yeah, no, it was a good result for Sporting, and fair play to them for getting out of their group. Another game I will comment on is Barcelona. Obviously, draw a 0-0 against Benfica at home. It isn't good enough. It's not good enough for poor old Xavi, who's sort of gone in there, and obviously he's having to sort of clear up a bit of a mess that has been left.
A bit of a mess is an understatement there,
yeah,
Chris.
A bit of a mess. Yes, a huge mess.
It's like a bomb's gone off, Chris.
Yeah, but one thing I did find hilarious in that match was obviously Benfica had a massive chance right at the end to win the game.
They really did.
I mean, Haris Seferovic. Every time I've pretty much 9 times out of 10, every time I've watched Seferovic play, he's either been awful,
terrible.
Yeah, he's either been awful or he misses like literally that one game against France is probably the best game I've seen him play.
Yeah,
when he scored twice, but. Yeah, he obviously missed that big chance at the end.
And that would have been huge for them. That would have put them above Barca going into the final game that they've got Dynamo Kiev.
Yeah, they've got Dynamo
Bayern. They've still got a chance, but
it depends. It all depends what Bayern do.
Yeah.
Like if they feel a weakened squad. Speaking of Bayern, what an overhead kick from Lewandowski as well.
Unreal.
And that just brilliant. But going back to Benfica, just the reaction from Jorge Jesus just really tickled.
Buried his head in the turf, didn't he?
The thing is, he's known for touchline antics. Like I said, I mentioned
get him in the Premier League.
Yeah, get him. Honestly, he's a great
go to
character.
Wolves or something, or Watford.
Jesus.
Yeah, he is a great. He is a great character. I remember obviously when Benfica played Tottenham in Europa League when Tim Sherwood is in charge. Like he was like danced on the touchline and went 2-0 up, and then like Benfica scored like a late goal to make it 3-1. He literally just went up to Tim Sherwood and just held 3 fingers in his face, and then started a bit of an argy-bargy on the touchline. It was brilliant, and like he's been like, what was it after the Arsenal game last season? Because obviously they played Arsenal in Europa League, and Arsenal knocked them out, and he just went on like this massive rant in the press conference afterwards about Benfica's fans saying, "Oh, you boo me and the chairman. You should be cheering for us. You should be clapping us." And that is brilliant. But yeah, I hope as a football neutral, I kind of hope Benfica do pip Barca to the last qualifying place in that group.
There's not a massive amount of. It's a bit boring this year, isn't it? There's not a massive amount of action going on going into the last game of the group stage. Like we just said, there's Barca Benfica that's a bit close. Other than that, I mean, there's
Group G is quite an interesting one.
There's second place for Group B, Liverpool's group, and then I was just going to say Group G is the big one. I think Lille have got to play Wolfsburg and Red Bull Salzburg have got to play Sevilla, which is second versus third. So I was going to
ask who are the 3 teams that have a 100% record, but you probably both have the Champions League groups in front of you.
Yeah, I've got it in front of me. Sorry,
Chris,
who's the third one?
Chris, who are the 3? Oh, okay, give it away then. Okay, we're not doing that.
No. Move on.
It's
Fun
Liverpool,
fact,
Bayern Munich, and Ajax, Chris. By the way,
fun fact: an English side have never gone through the group stage in the Champions League, winning all 6 games, and Liverpool have a chance to do that in the sixth match week.
I mean, and
Liverpool
go on
have
it.
been unreal.
Go on to Liverpool. Go on to it.
To look at, I was quite concerned with that group when the draw came out. They are 3 decent sides, a lot of history, some very good players in each of them, and to win every single game so far is absolutely ridiculous.
I feel my theory is that Porto have been crap ever since they've been been called Porto. They used to be called FC Porto, and I feel that's just a bit more with them, you know.
Liverpool have got a really good record against Porto. We beat them, I think it was in the knockout stages the year we won it. We beat them like 5-0 at their place.
I remember that,
It's just, we've got a very good record against them. But
Did Thiago's goal hit the ground? Is it hit turf or not?
I've watched it so many times. I don't think it does. It maybe tickles the grass.
Chris, have you seen this? Have you seen the goal? And have you got?
It was a great goal. It was a great
Do you think
goal.
it touches the ground and bounces off, or do you think it actually just?
There's a whole theory, Chris,
you know,
because he's hit it with backspin, that the air has made the ball lift upwards, so it doesn't actually touch the ground. What do you reckon? Watch it again and let me know.
Yeah. To fair, I sort of do agree with you that it has like sort of like tickled the grass a little bit, just like that.
Yeah.
I think it's tickle the grass.
It's not bounced. Little tick of the grass.
I think it's a little. It's a lovely
it
goal,
was
isn't it?
Unbelievable goal.
If anything, he said it too sweetly.
Get it in the Louvre.
Yeah. Similar to that Pavard goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Probably better. I don't know. That Pavard goal.
Do you reckon?
Was
Nice.
That
Pavard was unreal, wasn't it?
Oh, it was lovely.
On the volley, was this half volley?
It was half volley.
Or it was like not bouncing out to him, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, that was
Pavard one was a joke. But yeah, considering Liverpool don't have a very deep squad, I think they've managed it pretty well. And yeah, to come away with 5 from 5 is an unbelievable record. I just hope that we can finish the job off.
Definitely. I think just looking at some of the groups here, Group G, which was Lille, Salzburg, Sevilla, and Wolfsburg, it is actually such a boring group. I mean, Lille have scored 4 goals and they're top of the group. Wolfsburg have scored 4 on the bottom of the group by 3 points. What I will say is Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea have only conceded once in the 5 games so far, and then I will say also what caught my eye was RB Leipzig in Group A. They've scored 13 times, but they were also conceded 13 times in that group, which is that's like a 2-2 draw or so every single game. It's mental.
Yeah, and they've lost 3 games.
It's actually correct. Like some of these, Ajax have only conceded 3. They've scored 16. There's some interesting sort of subplots. Bayern have scored 19. I'm sure Lewandowski scored every single one of them.
I think if you look at the Champions League top goal scorers, I think it's Robin Lewandowski, and guess who's up there with him?
Sebastian Haller.
Haller.
Christopher Nkunku for RB Leipzig.
He's going to be so good at Bayern Munich next year. Sorry. He's going to be very good.
Well, they've even got shot accuracy stats on here.
Go on then. Who's got the best?
Gabriel Jesus apparently has 100% shot accuracy in the Champions League.
Yeah, huge if true. That's actually pretty huge.
Pote for Sporting Lisbon. Is that how you pronounce it? Or is it just Pot or Pote? Pote. Never heard of him before, but he scored 4 goals. He's got an 88% shot accuracy. Mohamed Salah, 85. That's the big one.
That's respectable. That's very respectable. Do you want to talk about Europa League and Europa Conference League? Because I couldn't. I
mean, very quickly, I think all the English teams are doing relatively well. I know Celtic went out, but they're Scottish. It doesn't matter.
Leicester were bottom of their group when I saw, and then they won a game, so I'm assuming they're okay now. They're in a tight group, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they've got a tricky last game away against Napoli. Obviously, I will quickly talk. Great first win for Gio Bronkhorst as Rangers manager, and obviously they've guaranteed a place through into the next round.
There are some big sides in the Europa League on there. There's some big sides in the Conference League as well. Actually, I was looking the other day because I was like, I was thinking if Tottenham are now probably going to finish second. I think they have to. That's the highest they can finish. Like that'll mean that they get somebody who's top of their group. But I mean, there's some big names, but they're very beatable. Like Tottenham are probably the biggest or the best.
Well, what is it? I think they're changing up the formats for the Europa League and Conference League group. So I think if you finish top of your Europa League or Europa Conference League group, then you sort of bypass a round. You go into like sort of another round, and then like the second place teams, along with like the third place teams that come down from either the Champions League and Europa League, they play in an extra round.
Okay.
And
West Ham are top of their group and will finish top. Celtic are third in their group, so they're out.
Well, they're going into the
Leicester are top of their group, but they got Spartak Moscow, Napoli, and Legia Warsaw.
West Ham not doing too bad, to be fair.
Yeah, they're doing very well. They're through already, and then Rangers, like you said, are second in their group.
Oh, lovely stuff. Good preview. Good review of the Europa Conference League and Europa League there. Spurs are a bit crap.
Oh, Spurs are so bad. Can we just talk about that very briefly?
Yeah, please do.
You look at can you imagine putting yourself in Antonio Conte's shoes? Like he's put out a decent side there against what are an
his
awful
Italian
outfit.
leather shoes.
Yeah, I mean, some of the players like Davidson Sanchez, Dele Alli, Gill, Harry Kane started. Who else? You got Tanganga. I know he's still
Ndombele.
fairly young, and Dombele. Yeah, the quality of players they had starting in that game. And yes, they lost a player after 32 minutes, I think it was, which completely scuppers all the prep and strategy and tactics that you had going into that game. But they're good enough to be able to beat that side with 10 men. You know, they were playing three. They were playing three at the back with then 2 wing backs. All they had, I think, they just shuffled to 4 at the back until half time. And then the fact that people like Matt Dougherty came off after 54 minutes against that team, NS Mura, when they'd had a man sent off. So surely you'd think that one of the midfielders or attackers would come off. The fact that they took off Matt Dougherty, along with, I think it was Dele Alli and Gill, wasn't it, that they brought off? I think they brought off Rodon as well, the centre back.
Yeah.
Just like those players, it's debatable whether they care or not. They're probably quite happy to not be in the side because Tottenham are so bad at the minute.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
As professionals, they've got to look themselves in the mirror and think, wow, this is probably the lowest moment of my career to be taken off after 54 minutes against are they Slovenian? They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's no way of knowing.
Just embarrassing, really embarrassing.
Yeah, because what was it? I think I saw that they had like equivalent like UEFA rankings like Accrington Stanley. Like that's how bad of a team.
One of a bad word said about Accrington Stanley.
Who are they?
Yeah. I mean, yes, they did nick the win in the final minute, but still, on paper, Tottenham have lost to them, and it's not good enough. And you look at that group. Tottenham should be walking that, even with their second team that they put out most match weeks for this Conference League. They should walk that group.
They really should.
And I think have they got in their last game?
They have got Rennes.
Have they?
Ooh,
Good
interesting.
luck.
Good luck.
Because Rennes are top. But yeah,
appalling.
I saw Jamie O'Hara was doing it for Sky Sports News last night, and it was. I know he's a complete moron, but he actually wore his heart on his sleeve a bit last night and told a few home truths. I think because just some of them not good enough. I think Matt Dougherty is one that we could probably talk about for quite a while on here because he had a great career at Wolves, made a bit of a name for himself. He's gone to Tottenham. His career's gone backwards. I think he's been massively found out that he can't defend. He has to play as a wing back. He can't play as a right back. And yeah, he's just one of those players who's been at a mid-table Premier League club, gone to a top 6 club, and just fallen by the wayside. He's just...
It's interesting because you think, he was a good wing back at Wolves. Why can't he be a right back at Spurs? Yeah. It's really not a different position. It may be, 10 yards or so different from where you actually are, but it is different. And it makes me think when everyone says, put Trent in midfield, I'm like, it's not as easy as that. Like, Trent could be terrible.
Yeah.
But
and Trent was a midfielder before. Like he only played right back because that's how they could sort of shoehorn him into the first team. And I'm sure Matt Dougherty hasn't been a wing back all his life. I'm sure he's played right back before. It's just mad. And like, just get the defensive coach to do some extra sessions with him. Teach him how to play right back. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard. I do put it to you, gentlemen, that Group A of the Europa League is the most Europa League group that you could possibly imagine. Lyon, Rangers, Sparta Prague, and Bromby. I think that is quintessentially Europa League. I think we're missing Sevilla, obviously.
Yes, Sevilla's got to be in there.
Sevilla. I don't know who would be in your quintessential Europa League group. I think Sparta Prague would be in there for me.
PSV Eindhoven, they're very Europa League.
They're very Europa League.
Olympiakos, Galatasaray. Ludogorets, they've got to be in there. Or Midtjylland, Group F.
That's a classic,
that's a
very good group.
That's a great group. Red Star Belgrade, Sparta Braha, Midtjylland, and Ludogorets. What a group!
That's a very good group, I must say.
I think there's another good group. It's like Frankfurt, Lazio, Marseille, Royal Antwerp.
Yeah. What group? Some big away days there. Yeah, Group D. Fenerbahce,
Frankfurt, Olympiakos, Antwerp. That is a great group. Marseille are in the group after, which is Galatasaray, Lazio, Lokomotiv Moscow.
Yeah. Up the choo-choos.
Up the choo-choo trains. And here's a segue into the Premier League preview. It's Friday night.
It's Friday, then it's Saturday, Sunday. What?
Super Sunday. We'll talk about Chelsea United in a bit, but yeah, get those fantasy football teams in and locked in. You got until tomorrow-ish.
Yeah, I think it's 11 or 10.
11-ish, an hour before the early kickoff, which is Arsenal
11.
Newcastle. 11, fantastic. To be honest, I'm looking at the Premier League fixtures this week. Nothing really stands out apart from on Sunday when it is City West Ham, which is a pretty big game.
Top 4 clash.
Top 4 clash, and then obviously Chelsea United, which is also a very big game.
Which could be a pace thing.
It really could be. But apart from that, I really don't see any. I wouldn't say interesting, but it doesn't really catch my eye. But Chris, what about you? You gonna watch that Arsenal Newcastle game?
Oh, I probably won't be watching it because I'll be travelling over to Kingham for
God
game. Yeah, another village.
Another village.
Up the village.
Come on to Kingham.
The Kingham Colts.
Yeah, it's actually Kingham Athletic or Kingham All Blacks. That's it. It is Kingham All Blacks.
God.
I don't know why
That's
we
a rugby
went
team.
American there.
Please do
I
a
don't know why we
hack
went
before the
Jamie
game.
Carragher American then.
Christ, wow.
But no, obviously Arsenal Newcastle is a bit of a stand-up game. Obviously Eddie Howe will have his first game on the touchline as Newcastle manager, as he's tested negative today, and he's been obviously allowed to,
I'm very, very happy.
He's
very proud.
He's been allowed to be on the touchline. Hopefully he's on the touchline for a 6-0 pasting, I'm not going to lie. And that, but then like Newcastle, they do need to start picking up wins at some point. I mean, all right.
Or just win.
Just
pick up a win. Not even plural. Just pick up a win.
Because they're already 5 points behind. They are going to have to start having to claw their way back. I mean, obviously games are coming thick and fast and that, but if they don't start winning, then they're going to be good enough as down.
Yeah.
And that,
this could be the one. Early kickoff. You never back the early kickoff.
Yeah. Don't back the early kickoff. But yeah,
well,
you just see like Arsenal as well. Obviously coming off the back of that defeat to Liverpool as well.
Pasting, Chris. Pasting.
Yeah. Hey, let's not have a Klopp and Arteta, falling out on this. We don't want Tang being Bobby Madley in the middle, and that just like he was last Saturday night. But yeah, obviously the big game is Chelsea Manchester United on the Sunday night. I'll be honest. I think Chelsea are going to beat them. I think it's going to be at least by 2 goals. It's just that Chelsea are organising that, and to be honest,
they're a very well-oiled machine, aren't they?
They are, and it doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who Tuchel puts in player-wise. They just all work well and all work hard for the team. And we barely mentioned the Chelsea result when we talked about European Football Review. But
no, it was a good result, wasn't it?
It was a brilliant result, and I think something that was even more pleasing to the Chelsea fans was that 3 of their local players scored on Tuesday night.
Common bone and bread.
Yeah, with that being Trevor Chalobah, Mason Mount, and Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I think that's what Chelsea fans have been wanting for years. Not just these big name players coming into the club. They've also wanted to see an integration of youth coming through, and obviously doing well in the first team. And I think Tuchel's kind of been the manager that sort of hit the nail on the head and managed to, merge both into one. And that, whereas like you said, all right, man, you are going in the right direction, appointing Rangnick, but even the way they played Tuesday night, they got away with it. If it was against a better team, then they probably would have lost that game on Tuesday. And they're going to be against at this moment in time, in my opinion, they're going to be against. I mean, Ed might disagree with me here, but I think at a moment in time, Chelsea are the best team in the Premier League currently.
It's a bold claim. It's a bold claim, Ed. How do you retort against that?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's fair.
Is that it?
I thought you were going to argue back. No.
Yeah,
There you go, Chris. You win. Argument settled.
Yeah, but well, at least one part-time Arsenal fan's beating Liverpool at something this week.
Fantastic.
What a match day that was!
What about that? What? If you guys haven't seen a clip, I think it's on CBS or something, that Jamie Carragher does an American accent to close off the show, and it's wild.
It starts off so bad, and then he
actually gets
up.
relatively decent.
It, yeah, he's just
end,
all over the place.
His
what a
voice
match
breaks.
What
a match that was. It was very wild, very wild. Anyway, Ed, for you, what are you going to keep your eye on? Obviously, Liverpool playing at 3 o'clock. They got the 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday against the Saints.
Yeah.
But what
Feed
else
a club.
in the Premier League? Yeah, of course.
There's some tasty matches, but nothing really stand out other than what we've mentioned.
It's a weird.
I think
weird game week.
Yeah, the new managers will be obviously keen to keep an eye on. Vieira versus Gerrard, Crystal Palace Villa, that will be an interesting one. Burnley Spurs, that's a tough away day for Spurs off the back of a poor result midweek.
Barnes is going to be happy you mentioned Burnley.
Going to sound like Barnes.
Leicester Watford, I think that would be interesting because Leicester are struggling a little bit. They've hit a run of poor form. I think Yuri Tillemans is out injured, isn't he? And he was their main man. Whereas Watford,
Ranieri, I was about to say Ranieri back at the King Power.
Yeah, and Watford have got going the last couple of weeks. Our Brighton Leeds as well. That could be interesting.
Brighton have beaten Leeds, I think, 9 out of the last 10 attempts. They're a real non-bogey side for Brighton.
And Leeds are poor at the minute, and that's a big away day for Leeds as well.
Yeah, it really is. But that's live on Sky.
Yeah, it is.
But no, we'll see what happens, and we will be live right after the Manchester United game at Chelsea. On Sunday, fingers crossed.
We'll be rivaling the United stand.
We will be.
We'll be getting post-match reaction from Josh Leafy, not that fraud Owen Churchill.
Calling out the person who made this all happen. I like it.
Yeah, and then backdoor boogied because he got on Sky Sports.
Yeah, we don't know who he is. He's just too cool for us. He's way too cool for us.
Full respect to Owen. Full respect.
I didn't see him on Sky Sports.
He was on again, not that. Yeah.
He was on yesterday.
I think it was either yesterday or Wednesday morning he was on. Which
I didn't catch that. He hasn't posted anything on his socials, but no, Owen's doing very well for himself. He's doing very well for himself. But we'll be live. We'll be back on Sunday for some live post-match reaction from the bridge.
Should we do some lineups on Sunday as well? Get that in there. We can introduce the podcast universe to a bit of lineups.
We do, yeah. We need to introduce the fan base to what made this all happen. Why we became such a thing. Why we are the Bath Boys. Well, it all started with lineups.
We love to soak up and bathe in the historical football starting 11s.
It's lovely scenes. But it's been lovely bathing with you boys on this Friday night. Mike, I might make that a thing.
Can you do my back?
Oh, stop it. Well. Maybe after the water.
Pass me the soap.
Oh no. Fantastic scenes. Anyway, it's not that type of podcast, Ed. It's not that type of podcast. But
drop it, Ed, and not the soap. Come on.
Hey.
Whoa.
It's very good from Chris. Very good. Anyone else got anything they want to add before I do the little outro, which I make up every single week?
I'm very sad that obviously Richard Madeley's had to leave on the celebrity. And
that is a real issue. When Ed said Bobby Madley earlier, my brain went straight to Richard Madeley for some reason. Similar surnames, and yeah. It's a real shame. How is I'm a Celeb? I haven't really been watching it.
I'm a bit behind as well.
It is quite good. Obviously, I won't spoil it for Ed if he hasn't seen it yet and that. But
Naughty Boy's a bit of a wet flannel. That's the furthest I've gone.
He is. He is a massive wet flannel. Like literally doesn't get his own way. I'm gonna leave. I'm
gonna leave.
I'm gonna leave.
Just thinking of your mum.
And that, but it has been a good series so far. Let's hope it continues and hopefully. But I've just seen David on there, just fully dabbler. It's fully dabbler.
His press ups were pretty sexual.
Essential.
Now that is a man that is in a better body tone than a lot of us on the Early Bath Football Podcast.
Hey, speak for yourself. I did a press up earlier.
Yeah.
Not as many as Davies Ginola,
Mm-hmm.
but a press up nonetheless. Anyway, we will call it there anyway. We'll be back on Sunday after the Chelsea United game, so please do join us for that. I'm not going to make any promises of how immediately after. It might be like 20 minutes, half an hour.
Can you wrap it up in 5 seconds?
No, I can't. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Ring that bell. See you on Sunday. Goodbye.